Hi, I'm Stu from Hive Mind Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, we'll be taking a look at this Eve door and window wireless contact sensor. As always, we'll be taking a look around the outside of the box. We'll get it outside of the box and we're going to pair it with its native app. For now at least, the Eve ecosystem doesn't play too nicely with Home Assistant, but all that is about to change with Matter. So for today, we'll be looking at just using the Eve door and window in HomeKit and in the Eve app. And in a future video, we'll go through updating the firmware to support Matter and pairing it to Home Assistant using Matter. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe? And if you hit the bell icon, you'll also get notified when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, check out the affiliate links in the video description to a bunch of home automation gadgets that I've reviewed, including the Eve door and window sensor here. There's also other ways to support the channel, like signing up for NordVPN using my affiliate link, or supporting the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So it seems like we're going through a bit of an Eve accessories series here at the moment. And to continue that theme, I picked up this Eve door and window wireless contact sensor from Amazon for $55. And to be honest with you, that was in the same order as the Eve motion sensor and the Eve energy that I reviewed in the last couple of videos. The Eve door and window wireless contact sensor that we're reviewing today at $55 is pretty pricey for a contact sensor, I will admit. But like both the Eve Energy and the Eve Motion, there's really two key reasons that I bought this sensor. Firstly, this is, at least as far as I know right now, one of the only thread-enabled contact sensors available on the market. And being thread, the battery consumption and latency should be fairly minimal. The second reason is that Eve Home announced earlier in November that this would be one of the first accessories to get the firmware update to support Matter. And that update is due to come out on the 12th of December 2022, which, if my calculations are correct, is the day after this video is due to come out. So when that update does become available, I'll be making sure to film a video about running the firmware update on the device, and then we'll be able to explore this device using Matter on Home Assistant. As always, we'll begin our investigation by exploring the outside of the box. And on the front, we've got Eve door and window wireless contact sensor, and then a couple of translations, German and French there, I believe. We also have works with Apple HomeKit, 100% privacy it claims again, and a picture of the unit. And it's worth noting that we've got a sensor and a little magnet unit here as well. On the side here, we'll see that its trigger range is 0 to 15 millimeters. We can set up some rules, and it comes with an ER14250 replaceable battery. I did look up this battery type, and it appears to be around a 3.6 volt stubby battery that might make finding replacements difficult in stores, but we'll be taking a closer look when we get the box open. And I did a quick Google, and it seems like electronic stores may stock replacement batteries, but you should be able to get them online if you are getting really stuck. On the back of the box, we've got some serving suggestions. It looks like they're recommending perhaps on a door frame and the door itself, and a picture of someone using the app. It suggests we can automatically control other HomeKit enabled accessories, view open and close statistics and make smarter choices, direct connection, no bridge or power supply required, requirements, iPhone or iPad with the latest version of iOS or iPadOS 14, controlling the HomeKit enabled accessory automatically and away from home, requires a HomePod or Apple TV 4th gen or later as a home hub, and notifications away from home require a home hub. At the bottom here, we've got the Eve logo again, the 100% privacy claim again, and a link to evehome.com/privacy. No Eve Cloud, no profiling, and no registration. And we've got the Bluetooth and built-on thread logos here as well. On the last short side, a picture of the app logo and download on the Apple Store. There's not a whole lot of useful information on the bottom of the box, just some fine print here. And then on the top of the box, designed in Germany and wireless contact sensor translated, and a link to evehome.com/global there. So the outside of the box covered off. Let's open up the box, starting by cutting these plastic dots on the end of the short edges, and that's fairly standard with the Eve packaging, it seems, and pulling this flap out. And I will open that flap, flip the box back over, and we slide this out like a drawer, and we can open the box like a book. We've got our quick start guide with the HomeKit pairing manual there. We have the sensor itself, which we can see on the back. We've got a spot for the battery, and pulling that out, underneath here we have a couple of different options, it seems, for mounting the unit. That may be for the, yep. So those are a couple of different plastic pieces for mounting the magnet, and those, it seems, will help us to space the unit out from the surface of where we're mounting it. And we've got a little back plate for the sensor itself, which so it has these little lugs, and then it slides into place so that you can slide it off the door to replace the battery. Speaking of the battery, you see we've got that there, and we've got a couple of additional manuals in here. So I'll pull the battery out of the box, and I'll pull the magnet unit out of the box as well, and we'll put all of this aside, and we'll take a closer look at how all of this goes together. I might actually need to refer to the manual, because some of this is actually a little bit more complex than I had expected. Okay, so it says, to get started, we insert the included half AA battery. Okay, so that's what this is. This is a half AA battery. So insert the included half AA battery and place the Eve door and window so that the areas marked with dots are facing each other. So that needs to face that there. Use the included spaces to bring the small element to the ideal height. So we can maybe use this big one here and push that out. It is obviously designed to anticipate that there will be a bit of a difference between where this is mounted and where this is mounted as well, and these spaces will help you to kind of build up where you are mounting your magnet piece. So it seems you can also snap these together to build them up to the perfect height, and then use the double stick tape here to then get everything aligned. So with all of these spaces stacked up, the dots align almost perfectly there with the unit itself just sitting on the table here. I'm going to do as the instructions say and put the half AA battery inside here. It's a little tricky to get in, but there we go. And we've got a red LED flashing in there somewhere, and I've just managed to squeeze the back onto the sensor unit there as well. So I'll just line those up there, and we should now be good to pair the unit. So it says the built-in LED will light up each time Eve door and window detects an open close change state, so you can be sure everything works before attaching the adhesive firmly. So if I move that away, it's changed state, and if I move that back, it's changed state again. Awesome, so that seems to be working. I will zoom in here, maybe even further. Okay, so I will open up the Home app, and I'm going to tap the plus button in the top right hand corner, and I'm going to tap add accessory. We've got our camera here, and I'm going to scan the code on the back of the quick start guide. We've got sensor, add to Apple Home, and make sure it stays connected to power and nearby. Okay, now it's asking us for a contact sensor location. I will tap continue, leaving it in the spare room, and I'll leave it at Eve door and window thread. We'll tap continue, and it is a contact sensor. We'll tap continue, and it's added to the demo instance. So we'll tap done, and interestingly, it's showing us that an update is available, and if we scroll across here, we can see the sensor there, and if I tap that, it shows update available. You can install the update in the Eve app, and it's got a link to open the Eve app. Contact sensor state is currently closed. If I take the magnet away, it should fairly quickly update to be open, but not in here for some reason. So it's still showing as closed, so I'm a little bit concerned that it's not showing up here just yet. But we can see that it's paired, so I'll head out. We'll head into the Eve app, and I'm going to pull down and refresh this page. I go back to settings, then go to accessories. We can see we've got Eve door and window thread, and if I tap that, it's asking me to be allowed to use Bluetooth. I'll tap OK. That's fine for now. We see it's prompting us to update the firmware of this unit. It's also got some details here, so if I tap details, it's going to try and identify it, and I'm guessing that that's going to flash the red LED. Succeeded, and we've got the LED pulsing there. Cool. I'm going to tap update firmware and see what we see. So it's saying version 2.11 overall improvements, and it says please ensure you stay close to it during the update process. Updating via remote access is not supported. I'm going to tap update, and it's going to prepare that update. So version 2.1.1 build 2854 is the version going on now. I don't believe this has the Matter update in it, because we're still a few weeks away from that Matter update becoming available at the time of recordings. Okay, and it just said something about migrating Eve door and window thread, and now update complete. So we can tap done, and it is up to date. So what's those migrate measurements do? Looks like we can migrate the unit over to another instance perhaps. We can show the quick start guide. We can set up notifications if we wanted to. And there's some other bits and pieces here inside the app itself. Now that we've got the Eve door and window sensor, if I open up Thread Network, we'll see we've got that Eve energy is connected on the thread. Thread status is that it's a leader. The Eve motion's showing up unreadable, and for whatever reason, the Eve door and window is showing up as connected via Bluetooth. Odd that it would be connected via Bluetooth, but that is okay for now. Thread status is showing as disabled. I don't understand why that would be the case. I'll go to accessories, door and window thread, details. So open thread version, thread status is disabled, not sure why. All right, so it looks like it's connected to thread again. So with that now set up properly and the firmware up to date, we should see that we've got the sensor here and back in Apple Home. And I'm going to take the sensor away and we see that the sensor is showing as open. I'll put the magnet back. And it's showing as closed. Open again. Not sure why it's open again. That's interesting. So open, closed. So it's showing as closed. I take the sensor away. The magnet, I should say. It's still showing closed. Okay, this one is not as responsive as I would have hoped, and it's showing me that there's another update available. So I moved the magnet away and we got the sensor shows as open. I moved the magnet back, closed, open, closed, open, closed. So that's responding a lot better now. It was being quite slow before. I'm not sure what was going on there, but this is very responsive now, and it's showing up almost instantaneously within the HomeKit app there, although it has stopped responding quite as well there. I think what's happening here is because we're connecting over Bluetooth at the moment, I think it is struggling with a signal buffer, because if I turn on the Eve Energy, it's going to take a really long time to turn on. And if I turn that off, it's almost instant, on and off, almost instant again. And now we've got the sensor is showing closed. If I pull that away, it's taking a second. And it's open. And if I move it back, it's closed straight away. Pull it away, it's taking a second. And it's open, and move it back, and it takes a moment. And it's closed. So what I'm going to do to see if I can sort this out, I'm going to go to the Eve door and window thread. I'm going to remove the accessory from this demo instance of HomeKit. I'm going to tap on the top right corner, and I'm going to go into the Hive. This is my production instance of HomeKit. I'm going to find the spare room. So we've got the spare room light in there. I'm going to tap plus, I'm going to tap add accessory, and I'm going to scan that code. We'll add to Apple Home, and we're making sure that the sensor is nearby and connected to power. And the reason that I think this is going to be a better experience is because I have an Apple HomePod right behind me, and that should be connecting the Thread network and being the border router for Thread. So it's going into the spare room. I'll tap continue there, and I'm going to just make it door, and we'll tap continue, and contact sensor added to the Hive, done. So if I scroll across here, we've got the contact sensor. And it shows Eve door and window thread, and it's currently closed, open, closed, and that seems to be a whole lot more responsive straight away. And now if I open the Eve app, we're on the wrong home. So I'm going to tap the home button in the top left and tap on the Hive, and we'll be over on the Hive, and you'll see that we have all of our HomeKit data in here. I'm going to head over to the settings and tap on accessories, and you'll see we've got a lot of stuff in there, but what I want is thread network, and you will see that we have the Eve door and window thread, and for whatever reason it's still showing as connected to Bluetooth. I don't know why it's doing that. It's connecting only via Bluetooth. Strange. So even though it says it's only connecting via Bluetooth, it does seem to be a teeny bit more responsive connected to my production instance than it was on the demo instance. I still think that's a lot to do with being connected via the HomePod. Now, without the Matter firmware update, I'm not going to be able to get this unit set up in Home Assistant just yet, without potentially using the HomeKit controller integration. That said, I also believe that the Matter firmware update will reduce these problems of reliability that I'm seeing with the Bluetooth connectivity being preferred over Thread. I have no idea why it is doing that. It is supposed to be a Thread device, and I have the hardware here to support a Thread network. So that is the Eve door and window wireless contact sensor. It's pretty pricey for a contact sensor, and it seems that it is not super reliably connecting to the Thread network here. Even with native HomeKit support, the Thread radio in there, and the soon to be released firmware upgrade that supports Matter, I'm struggling to justify the additional cost. Honestly, there's nothing really wrong with a Zigbee sensor in the contact sensor use case, and I can get an equally, if not more reliable Zigbee-based sensor for less than half the price, like this Aqara one that I have here, that can be had for less than $20, including shipping from AliExpress. And I'll put an affiliate link in the video description. I do suspect that the Thread radio could, when it's working properly, provide a little bit of an edge over Zigbee in regards to latency, but I'm struggling to see any real need for there to be millisecond precision on this kind of sensor. If you're using it as a Windows sensor to trigger an alarm system, or if you're using it as a door sensor to either trigger alarms or send yourself notifications, with the Bluetooth connectivity, it seems to be pretty unreliable in terms of the time frame that it can send you a notification. And based on that experience, I don't know that I would feel comfortable with that being the only method for me to get that information out of the smart home. At least for now, I don't really have a definitive way of testing the theory of Zigbee and Thread being different from each other. It will be interesting to see how this sensor changes its response times once the Matter firmware update has been applied, because the Matter spec only provides Bluetooth for pairing and provisioning, not for control and data flow. The data flow is over the Thread radio that's built into this, or if it were Wi-Fi or Ethernet connected. It's only those two protocols. It does not work over Bluetooth. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes and whether or not we get much more reliable communication from this device. Now, if my calculations are correct, the day that this video comes out, the update for the Eve ecosystem should be due out tomorrow. So I will be filming the update process and pairing of this unit and my other Eve accessories to Home Assistant and other non-HomeKit platforms very, very soon, and with some luck that video might even be coming out next week. So be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out when that does drop. That is all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your home automation and smart home journey. Be sure to comment down below with your thoughts on the Eve door and window contact sensor and home automation ideas that you'd like to see me cover in a future video. Don't forget to follow Hive Mind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider changing that now by hitting the subscribe button. And also, while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified when I release new videos each week. Lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description down below. Any contribution that you make through Buy Me a Coffee gets put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from Hive Mind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.